Hi, my name is Neil Ticktin. I'm the editor-in-chief and publisher of MacTech Magazine. Two on MacTech this week are doing interviews and in San Francisco with developers at the Worldwide Developer Conference. We're getting feedback on what they thought about the keynote address, how it impacts their products, and also hearing about what they're up to these days. Right now we have AJ, who's the CEO of Marketcircle. Thanks for being here and joining us.
Great to be here.
Let's start with talking a little bit about what you guys are up to. You just recently shipped a product in here, and
That's
then
right.
We'll move into the kind of the keynote reaction.
Sure,
so
absolutely.
what are you guys doing these days?
Well, we just shipped Daylight 4 on...
It's a long time in coming, isn't that?
It's a long time in coming, yeah. But what we did is we totally ripped out the interface and redid it.
So that took like 10 days, right?
Yeah. Yeah, according to Apple, that's how long it should take, you know. But it took a long time.
Yeah, it took a long time.
It took a long time. A lot of engineers. We rethought a lot of things, redid a lot of things, and really we took some risks.
Yeah.
Right? We took some risks. We took some features out. Some features, you know, based on feedback, we'll bring them back. But we wanted to make sure that people are actually using these features, right? So rather than carry baggage into the future. We also went line only, which, you know, we're getting a little bit of flack on.
Yeah.
However, you know, with we didn't have much of a choice. It took us this long just targeting one OS.
Right.
Never mind if we were to target.
And sometimes some of the features you want to do are only really easily done in one version of the OS. And to go backwards further, it's even harder to do.
That's very true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
So
that's exactly one of the reasons. For example, Arc. Nobody knows, but Arc doesn't work so well on 10.6. There are some issues versus it works fine on 10.7.
Right.
And so that's something that not the user will not see.
No.
But it helps us.
Sometimes they don't necessarily care.
They don't care at all.
Yeah.
Just like sandboxing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
Reaction good on the new version?
Yeah, you know what? We've had a lot of positive reaction, and our sales are, you know, reflect that.
Yeah.
We've had some negative reaction, as we were expecting, but actually less than what I expected.
That's good. That's good.
So that's a good thing.
That's good.
And
you know what to do on the negative stuff that you guys are being reacted to?
Well, you know, there are a few things that are, you know, that we were kind of expecting, and so we have some backup plans.
Yeah.
And so we're just going to tackle them and you know, get on those things. So we're doing that. We're getting the feedback from. Oh, trust me, we're getting feedback from
the forums. It's the Apple market. Feedback? I can't imagine that being the case.
You know, you write the emails, forums, Twitter, etc. So, you know, we're collecting those and we're prioritizing, and you know, we'll get some of those features back. We still have Daylight 3 for sale, which is unusual a little bit, you know, in the sense that.
No, but for those people on the older version of the OS that you know or need a specific feature, they have it out on it.
Exactly. They can still continue working.
Absolutely.
So it turned out pretty good.
So, what did you think about the keynote?
I actually really enjoyed it. I was a little bit concerned because this would have been the first WWDC keynote without Steve.
Yep.
Right. And so, but you know, I didn't feel it. Like, it was great. They did a fantastic job. I enjoyed myself. You know, it was good. I really liked it.
Good.
I really liked it. You know, they did a good job.
What announcements did they make that excited you? Number one, and then number two, how does that impact what you guys are working on?
Thankfully, it doesn't impact what we're working on too much, other than sandboxing. We can talk about that later.
Yeah.
But overall, what excited me was the whole keynote, in the sense that how it was delivered, you know, in terms of the product announcements, what products were announced. So I don't have
a little bit of something for everybody in that.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't walk away with, oh man, this is great. I mean, I liked everything. I liked iOS 6, the features they've added there, the maps, etc. You know, some of the other features they added there.
Yeah.
I like the stuff in Mountain Lion.
Yeah.
So you know, it was good, and I like the new MacBook Pro, which, you know, is going to cause me consternation at the office because
everyone's going to want one. Exactly.
And you know, the updates to the Air. You know, I mean, I use an Air to code.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's not that I code much anymore, but it's great.
Yeah. No, it's an amazing machine.
I use the 11. Never mind the 13.
Wow. Okay.
I plug it into a monitor, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I just do a little bit, so it's not a hard.
That's great.
So.
So not a lot of impact to you guys, mostly because of the kind of application you are in there. That you're just going to get the richness of these of the new OSs and the new products pretty much for free on stuff. I mean, you probably have some graphics updates to do on UI.
We do have to do some of those things, but usually an OS update for our kind of app is pretty traumatic because they change some lower end stuff that all of a sudden we have to rework. Now, I mean, there is one in the waiting, and that's sandboxing.
Yeah.
Right. Our kind of application won't even spool up in a sandbox.
Well, let's talk about sandboxing. So, you know, for those of you that don't know out there, Apple has a set of conditions on submitting apps through the Mac App Store that you must be a sandbox app, and there was a deadline that if you weren't going to be you need to do it. That deadline has passed. So at this point, anything that's submitted at this point has to be sandbox.
You get grandfathered if you were.
You get grandfathered before it if you weren't and whatnot. So what was that like? So what do you think about sandboxing? What do you see as the good? What do you see as the bad? What is the ugly?
I think it's a great idea. So put it out there, and it works. It's going to work okay for simple apps and so forth, right? However, complex apps or more heavy-duty apps like ours that are not necessarily document-based or whatever.
The apps that aren't $1.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean they're document-based apps that are more right.
The apps that have a richness of features.
Right. So it's going to cause issues for that. And we were just talking a little bit earlier about how the Mac is the truck and the car truck analogy that Steve Jobs so aptly talked about in regards to the iPad versus the desktop.
Right.
And so now if you're going to be neutering the truck, the truck is where you're supposed to do your heavy-duty lifting, right? So my vote has always been to beef up, Gatekeeper. Right. So right now with Gatekeeper, which is a great addition, if you get blacklisted, you can't launch the application.
Right.
I think they should take it a step further, and if you get blacklisted, it should kill the app.
Right.
Whether you have launched it in the past or not.
Right.
And so that, as a developer, you sign the application, Apple knows that you're the developer.
Right.
If there is any malicious intent that is discovered immediately, you're barred,
take it out,
which I think is great because developers like us, we're not going to go and do anything malicious or anything like that. We would kill our business, right? And our users trust in us. So I think what they should do there is they should beef up Gatekeeper. So that
when the gauntlet comes down, it really comes down.
Yeah, absolutely. And then allow those kind of applications through the Mac App Store.
Right.
Because really, that is the place where people will go and look for these apps. Looking outside of the Mac App Store is becoming less and less of a. It's becoming harder and harder for you if you're outside the Mac App Store to be made aware of to the end user.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, what's happening here, both on the iOS side and on the Mac side, is that Apple's got a great distribution channel, through these two. It's great for the user. One, it's easy for people to do. It's easy to get updates. All the benefits, to it. It's the what we saw in the very beginning of the iOS days is we saw any app could just go out there, and just because they were there, they got a lot of visibility and whatnot.
Correct.
And now, if you're an app in the iOS App Store, you need to find a way to push yourself and to market yourself and to do stuff outside of what Apple's doing.
Right. No, I mean, I've always said that you always have to do that.
Yeah.
No matter what. Right? However, the acquisition of the application and all that.
It's the whole transparency of the way that's happening, the way that people are wanting to be able to download and manage their apps on it. It's a good experience.
Yeah, it is a good experience.
For the most part.
It is a good experience. Yeah, there's some hiccups, but you know what? It's to be expected.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's my stance on this whole sandbox thing.
And it's been really, really tough on developers on stuff.
It's been really tough on us, and it will be tough on us, and the end user doesn't really see
the whole thing.
I mean, when there'll be a malicious attack, and there will be one because Mac is getting more popular, that's when, but that'll happen once every, I don't know how many, right?
Yeah, right.
So it's a big price to pay.
It's what's interesting and is just how these different technologies, whether it's sandboxing or the Mac App Store or the iOS App Store or the rules that Apple has, or even how the publishing with like MacTech's now on the iPad that or the stuff that we've had to go through and stuff. The end user doesn't realize how difficult these things that look simple are behind the scenes for developers. It's really huge. We both have shared that one in there. So, well, I'm glad that you were able to come by, and
thank you very much. Thanks for
doing it. My name is Neil Ticktin, and these are the 2 on MacTech interviews at WWDC. Thanks for watching.